evening, Miss Maha. I'm Fuxiang from Group 6. The members of our group included Leader Sungkame, General Lim Singi, and me. So our title is Webinar of Food Wastage. So, and I will present the presentation for you by myself now. So the table of content included background overview, vision, mission, objectives, MOM1 and MOM2. So let's move on to the first part. So background overview. The background of our webinar food wastage is mainly start from the statistic of world data analysis. So according to the global statistic, 1.3 million food are wasted every year. So which is equivalent of the world equal near 1/3 of the food is wasted by the global. So that means the total wasted food every year is enough to feed about 200 to 300 million people. So that is a large amount of food waste of global. And the second reason is greenhouse effect. So because the food productions, consumption, and disposal of food waste and all of the disposal of food waste process is involve carbon emissions. For example, the mainstream methods of incineration of landfill to dispose of food waste will continue to produce a large amount of greenhouse gas. So wasting food will not only cause the crisis of food shortage, but it is also release harmful gases to bring the rays of the earth. So that in order to minimize the occurrence of all of the problems, we have found finding the solution, which include the first main solution is conduct a webinar on food wastage, and we were looking for different ages and backgrounds, and we will create the awareness through the webinar of food wastage. Okay, so therefore the vision of our webinar is we must form a living habit to reduce a little food waste every day, which to making the earth environment healthier and cleaner. And besides, our webinar missions is promote food waste knowledge through the webinars, because we will remind them to reduce food waste and prevent waste. And the most important is we will encourage them to create a clean and healthy community environment. So we also create the webinar objectives. It is because create objectives can help us to define goals and identify conflicting activities, and it also can help us to guide elements of the decision making to our webinar process. So the first objective of our webinar is to raise the awareness of food wastage. As I told that before in the background overview part, we will throw the food in our daily life in visibility. So the visibility of our food waste is amount about 1.3 billion foods are wasted every day. every year, sorry, so that the primary objective in our food wastage of webinar is raise the awareness to reduce the food waste. So secondly, to reduce the harmful health and environment. As to raise the awareness of food wastage, we also hope that we can make some contributions to our environment and to make some contribution to our environment for example, reduce the generation of unnecessary waste and improving the health of population to achieve reduction of harmful health in environment. And the last objective is to develop the right practices in our daily life. So to create, in addition to create awareness of food wastage, we also have share on the webinar the ways that to avoid food waste, because most of the time we wasted food in the ways that we don't even know. So for example, in daily life, so that making small adjustment to our daily routine can avoid food waste. So that this is all of our webinar objective. And we have this MOM1. We have total 2 MOM, and which is MOM1 and MOM2. So MOM1 was placed on October 20. So this day is before 1 day our webinar officially begins. So the first requirements of this meeting is to confirm content and planning considerations. So this is because we need to confirm with our speaker to avoid any deviation and we must plan the webinar of the day. And in additional, we also discuss in the meeting what kind of the webinar platform that we need to choose, because the true webinar platform can help us to run the webinar smoothly. And we also have discussed the timeline in the MOM1. Discuss timeline which is compatible with the speakers and audiences with the true time, so that they can join our webinar at the time, on the time. And the last is simply run a webinar test run, so that we can avoid the technical problems as much as possible. And this is the last part that I will present, which is MOM2. So MOM2 is the meeting after our webinar activity. So the webinar agenda of MOM2 is placed on October 25. And we mainly is communicate with the main internal members, which is 3 of us, Kame, Janet, and me. So the primary purpose of the meeting is to discuss the agenda, and we analysis and mistake corrections. So we analysis the mistake and mistake corrections is through by the feedback received, evaluate negative and positive, and self-review that given by audiences. So most of the feedback that given by audience is relatively positive, as they feel very better feeling and experience on this on our webinar, and more detail of the feedback form and review will in the recording of our leader Song Kame. So this is the simply explanation of our MLM1 and MLM2. The more detail will in the recording of Kame and Janet. So this is all of my present today. Thank you for listening.